For most of football history, the idea sounded ridiculous. America winning the World Cup, impossible. But suddenly, something has changed. Young American stars are flooding Europe. The World Cup is coming to the United States, and for the first time ever, some football fans are starting to ask a terrifying question: what if America actually becomes a football superpower? For decades, the United States has chased football greatness, and somehow, every generation ends the same way. Frustration, disappointment, and another reminder that America still is not a true football powerhouse. But over the last decade, something started changing. Not overnight, not dramatically, but quietly. American players started appearing in places they had rarely reached before, the biggest clubs in Europe, and that changed everything. But this time, something feels different. Because for the first time ever, the United States actually has talent, real talent. Players competing in Europe, playing at the highest level of the game. Pulisic, Balogun, Dest, Musa. A generation raised differently, more technical, more fearless, more connected to global football culture than any American team before them. For years, American fans had waited for a generation like this. A generation that didn't just dream about Europe, a generation that belonged there. For the first time, the talent looked real. And with talent came something America had not felt in a long time: belief. Because this story did not start with Christian Pulisic, or this generation. American soccer has been chasing relevance for decades. There were moments of hope, moments when it looked like the breakthrough was finally coming. In 1994, the United States hosted the World Cup. The tournament changed the sport forever in America. Stadiums were packed, interest exploded, and for the first time, soccer felt bigger than ever before. Then came 2002, the greatest World Cup run in modern American history. The United States reached the quarterfinals, defeating Portugal, shocking the football world. And suddenly, people started asking a new question: could America actually become a football nation? But the momentum never fully lasted. Every promising moment seemed to fade. Every breakthrough felt temporary, and the dream kept moving further away. And then came Copa America 2024, the perfect opportunity to prove themselves, a chance to finally show the world that American soccer had arrived. But instead, the pressure exposed everything. The performances looked nervous, disorganized, emotionally fragile. And when the pressure started rising, the team collapsed again. Critics called the project overrated, fans questioned the mentality, and suddenly, all the belief disappeared. Because maybe America's biggest problem is not talent. Maybe it is identity. In countries like Brazil, Argentina, or Uruguay, football means everything. It is culture, it is emotion, it is history, it is obsession. But in America, soccer still feels like it is searching for its place. And the truth is, soccer never had an easy path in America. Because unlike most football nations, the sport was never number one. For decades, American sports culture belonged to other games. The NFL became a national obsession. Every weekend, millions of people filled stadiums. Families built traditions around football. The Super Bowl became one of the biggest events in the country. Then there was basketball, a sport that produced global icons. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. For generations, young athletes dreamed of becoming basketball stars. And before both of them, there was baseball, a sport deeply connected to American history, passed from generation to generation, built into the culture. So when soccer tried to grow, it wasn't competing against one giant, it was competing against all of them. Meanwhile, countries like Brazil and Argentina lived football differently. Children played everywhere, on streets, on beaches, in neighborhoods. Football was not just a sport, it was part of everyday life. The culture created pressure, the pressure created better players, and the players created more success. America never had that same cycle, which is why, even as talent improved, soccer still felt like it was fighting for attention, trying to earn a place among sports that had dominated for decades. And maybe that is why this generation feels so important, because for the first time, American fans are not just hoping to compete, they are expecting more. Expectations create pressure, and pressure changes everything, especially in football, because talent alone is never enough. The biggest football nations survive because of mentality, because of belief, because their players grow up carrying pressure from childhood. And now, this American generation is being asked to carry those same expectations. That is why Copa America felt so disappointing. Not because the United States lost, but because they looked unprepared for the moment. The intensity looked overwhelming, the pressure looked heavy, and against stronger football nations, the weaknesses became impossible to hide. The team looked hesitant, emotionally fragile, and when things started going wrong, confidence disappeared completely, which raised an uncomfortable question. What happens when the pressure becomes even bigger in 2026? And yet, despite all the disappointment, there is a reason people still believe, because 2026 feels different. For the first time in modern history, the World Cup is coming to America. Not Europe, not South America. Home. Every match, every headline, every expectation will be impossible to avoid. And unlike previous generation, many American players are no longer developing in isolation. They are playing in Europe, training with elite clubs, experiencing world-class competition every week. Christian Pulisic is entering the prime years of his career. Several young players are gaining experience at the highest level, and the talent pool continues to grow. Major League Soccer is stronger than it was a decade ago. Youth development is improving. More American players are reaching elite environments than ever before. The gap between America and the traditional football powers still exists, but it is smaller than it used to be, which creates a fascinating possibility. Maybe this generation arrives at exactly the right moment. Maybe all the failures, all the frustration, all the disappointment, we're preparing them for this opportunity. Because opportunities like this rarely come twice. And in 2026, there will be nowhere to hide. The world will be watching. And for the first time, America might actually be ready for the challenge. Because the 2026 World Cup will be different. This time, the entire football world will be watching America. Packed stadiums, massive expectations, global attention, and pressure unlike anything this team has experienced before. For some nations, this pressure feels normal. Brazil lives with it. Argentina embraces it. Uruguay is built on it. Their players grow up carrying the weight of expectation. They learn to handle it. They learn to survive it. But for the United States, this will be something completely new, and that is what makes 2026 so fascinating, because nobody truly knows how this generation will respond when the entire football world is watching. And that is what makes this moment so unique. Because opportunities like this do not come often. Most countries spend decades waiting for a World Cup on home soil. Many never get one at all. But America is about to host the biggest sporting event on the planet. A young generation is entering its prime. The talent is better than it has ever been. The infrastructure is stronger than it has ever been. And public interest continues to grow. For decades, American soccer dreamed about becoming relevant. Now, it has a chance to become something much bigger, because success in 2026 would not just change one tournament, it could change an entire generation. More kids playing football, more investment, more attention, more belief, the kind of momentum that can transform a sport forever, which means the stakes are bigger than most people realize. This is not just about winning matches, it is about changing the future of soccer in America. Because talent alone has never won a World Cup. And in 2026, the pressure will be bigger than ever. The expectations will be bigger than ever, and the spotlight will be brighter than ever. For decades, American soccer chased relevance. Now, it has a chance to become something much bigger, because this is not just about winning matches, it is about changing the future of soccer in America. And when the World Cup finally begins, there will be nowhere left to hide. No more excuses, no more waiting. Only one question remains. Is America finally ready? Because in 2026, the world is about to find out.